It's not a fantastic starter. The Relicanth active for Julius as their first Pokemon. That's unfortunate, but here we see the prize cards. Really important to see Alessandro's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it looks like
Mist Energy and Morwell.
Oh, that's a little bit rough. I mean, you do have a Hisuian Heavy Ball to get out Morwell at the very least, but yeah, not the most workable of prizes. But here we go. We are kicking off our top 4 game here, and it looks like Julius will be going first. They're tentatively drawing the card. Yes, I'm thinking about it. Julius will go first in this top 4 match.
Yeah, he's not loving that hand by the looks of it. He's
nope.
Kind of a head in hands moment a little bit from Julius. Does have an S-Ball to find a Pokemon here. But like we said earlier, he really doesn't want to bench lock himself. Of course, he can just go, I'm just going to put 4 Duraludon down. Even if Alessandro is able to gust anything up, I have the security of having lots of attackers on board. But for Alessandro, then, it's an opportunity to take advantage of the energy management on the Ulysses field.
Yeah, now Julius had a bit of a grimace there because the card drawn off the Trek Shoes wasn't the best, but discarding the Pheasantipity X, that's pretty good because it's one of those that you probably don't want on the field as much out against control, I would say.
No, I completely agree. I think for Julius, if he's able to discard as many of these Pokemon that Alessandro would like to see in the field, I think that would be ideal for Julius. But of course, you know, it's going to be a mean feat. Alessandro doesn't play the Mantine to be able to get a Pokemon from the discard onto your opponent's bench. So that could come into play if Julius is able to, like I said, get all of these Pokemon into the discard pile, but it'll be a pretty tall hoarder to do that in the first couple of turns at least.
Yeah, Julius is having a good check now just to see what he does have access to in terms of his Pokemon line. See, the Greninja is there. Of course, you do want that down in the early stages to draw cards at the very least, but you want to try and get it out of the field in hand quickly after that because, of course, it is a very easily trappable stall target for that Tempting Trap Mawile.
If he's able to use that Radiant Greninja, scoop it up pretty much instantly, I think that would be to his benefit. But I think that Julius has a lot of pressure on him to find some of these crucial resources earlier on in order to set himself up.
Actually, you make a very good point, Rabbi, because I believe I saw a Scoop Up Cyclone in Julius's hand, and I think that's the only reason he feels comfortable doing this.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, there it is.
And I think the pressure's definitely on for Julius to try and get set up. The pressure strong enough to use this Radiant Greninja. It's not ideal for Julius. I think that's why he's a little bit hesitant right now, and that's not fantastic. Drawing into 2 supporters that he can't use this turn, and it looks like just an attached pass.
Oh, there's no Duraludon even. Oh, that's dreadful for Julius.
That's a pretty horrific start. Here we see Alessandro with the premium starting supporter with Arven. He's searching out that precious trolley quick, fast.
Yeah, that's going to be a phenomenal start for him, especially because Alessandro is starting with that Rotom V as well. So off that Arven, able to grab, yes, the precious trolley, but also that Forest Sealstone so he can search for any card from the deck for good measure too.
Yeah, and with no pressure coming from Julius's field, Archaladon, you know, coming anytime soon. I think Alessandro is feeling pretty safe right now from any threats.
Yeah, this is about as ideal a contrast of starts as you could ask for if your name is Alessandro Cremascoli.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And here we see the Feebas coming down. Of course, the Milotic will remind you of the ability now. The Miracle Heart, of course, enable, stopping your opponent from picking up any Pokemon as the effect of any trainer.
It's a Calming Heart, I believe.
Calming Heart.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we had the sort of this up here, and I think when Ravi pulled up, it was in Italian. So
yeah.
How's your Italian, Benjamin?
Just have to remind myself of the ability name. That's fine.
Yeah. But
mentally calm.
Mentally calm, that was it, yes.
It's not a card that you see very often, is it?
No, not at all. Well, other than in control. But name clarifications aside, we're getting back into things here. Like we already mentioned, the Precious Trolley has been played, getting a pretty ideal bench setup here. I'm not going to lie. I'm seeing that and I'm thinking, yep, those are all the Pokemon that you want out right now.
Yeah, 100%. And we can possibly see a Fang Snipe from the Luxray V this turn, possibly, if Alessandro chooses to do so. He can do it with the Star Alchemy, searching out an energy card from the deck.
Yeah, of course, and
effective that.
And with that Latias EX in play as well, that Rotom V can retreat for free. So yeah, if he wants to, he can pull this off. If nothing else, it might be worth doing just to get the knowledge of the hand right. Oh, actually going to go ahead with the accompanying flute. Here we go, 5 cards from the top. There's an Iron Bundle. That's a good... Oh, okay. I was going to say that's a good hit. It's a good hit if you can bring it into the active, but I imagine Julius is just going to make use of the ability straight away to get it to the discard pile.
You'd imagine so. Yeah. It would only be... I think it would be a very good play if he was able to gust it up in the same turn. But like you said, I think that Hyper Blower will be used quick, fast for Julius.
Yeah. Now, Alessandro can go ahead here with that, as you already mentioned, Benji, with the Star Alchemy on that Forest Sealstone, with it being attached to the Rotom V, can grab any card from the deck, but it's just debating if he wants to do anything else first. We see him debating and playing a card in the hand, but maybe might decide not to in the end. Julius going to take a quick look at the discard pile to see what there is. And no, actually, Alessandro is just going to go for the instant charge.
Yeah, just an instant charge, savouring that Forest Sealstone for a later turn, finding maybe another crucial piece to the puzzle for his side of things. And here we see Julius going for that concealed cards. You'd hope he finds some resources pretty quick. And here we see the Nest Ball, here we see the Pokegear. Nest Ball definitely going to be something that he's going to be using to start getting these Duraludons out.
Yeah, sure is. That's going to be very, very important to do. Yeah, it's like, this is exactly what Julius was missing last turn.
Yeah, 100%. And just doing another deck search here. But I feel like Julius really needs to get rid of this Relicanth and the Radiant Greninja as soon as possible to prevent any sort of trapping plays from Alessandro as early as possible.
Yeah, and the window for that is closing, right? Because that's two things that Julius really wants to pick up, but you can't. The Scoop Up Cyclone's already been played, so there's going to be no Scoop Up Cyclone plus Professor Turo to pick up the two vulnerable things, and Alessandro already has that Feebas down.
I think I see I thought I saw the Scoop Up Cyclone in hand.
Oh, wait.
I don't
I
don't think he's used it as of yet.
Oh, yeah, no, he didn't play it last turn. Yeah, sorry, you're completely right. Yeah, no, it's still there, but we mentioned it was in the hand, and that he could have played it straight away, but decided not to. So, yeah, if you just find a Turo down, he could pick up both.
I'd feel pretty safe for Julius using the Hyper Blower on the Iron Bundle and finding a Professor Turo scenario now, picking up the Relicanth and the Radiant Greninja with Scoop Up Cyclone. We know that Alessandro has actually prized that Erica's invitation, so
yes,
his hand is pretty safe from any sort of disruption.
Oh, but hold on a second. Oh, this works alternatively. Like if you just use that boss's orders, bring up the Feebas, you can retreat with that Relicanth, go into the Duraludon and just hit for 30 for the knockout.
Yeah, Duraludon doing exactly 30 damage, just showing how vulnerable this Feebas is going to be. Hammer in
for 30 damage. Yeah, that works well. And even like, for good measure as well, use the Scoop Up Cyclone, pick up the Relicanth. Yeah, absolutely. So kind of double protection almost like coming in there.
I think it maximizes the outs that Julius has as long as he gets rid of the threat of the Milotic early on.
Yes.
This gives Julius potentially another turn. If Alessandro isn't able to use Thornton pretty early on, do we just see an instant?
Yeah.
Oh, no, to flip the script.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Flip the script there.
Yeah, because in an ideal world, Alessandro really wants to do Thornton plus Evolve into Milotic this turn. That would be the ideal. Let's see if he can pull it off. So there goes an Ultra Ball. Plenty to discard in hand. Let's see what he does opt for. Looks like it's going to be, that's, was that a Giacomo, I believe?
Yeah,
that is a Giacomo. Yeah,
that's not going to be very useful in this game.
No, that's a Lugia card. That's not a Archaludon card.
The Thornton play can be done now that he hasn't used his Forest Sealstone in that previous turn. Savoring is actually coming to his benefit right now, and here we see the Quick Surge Pidgeot EX coming out to play as well.
But it looks like it's going to have to be priority, Forest Sealstone for the rare candy for the Pidgeot.
Yep, but then can use the Quick Surge to find the Thornton.
Oh, yes, you can. Okay, so yeah, that chaining works. Did we already confirm that the Milotic was in hand already?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, so yeah, actually this will absolutely work. So, but instead going to use Quick Search for that double turbo energy, really prioritizing that Fang Snipe. Wants to get a good look at Julius's hand and stop him from being able to advance his game state with his own trainer cards.
It would have been such an advantage for Alessandro if he's able to Fang Snipe last turn to get rid of that Scoop Up Cyclone. But
yeah, that's probably why Julius went for it that turn, actually.
Yeah, 100%. And using that Fang Snipe, you'd imagine he's going to get rid of that Pokegear. I think that's going to be Julius's only out to a supporter, unless he just naturally draws into it or gets to it through concealed cards.
Yeah, so Alessandro taking one last look at the discard pile before deciding what to go ahead with. There is the Feebas ready to go. Defiance Vest comes onto the Luxray V as well. So that's going to be basically almost impossible for for a KO to be done. But now looks like it's going to from the Archaludon. Yep. Now coming with the Silene, and oh dear, it's a double tails on the Silene. It's a 1 and a 5.
Yeah, the supporter of choice didn't come up trumps for Alessandro, unfortunately. But yeah, like you said, that Defiance Vest, it definitely was a massive factor in the game earlier against Gardevoir, stopping that Mind Bend from doing enough damage to knock out the Morwell or do any considerable damage. But in this circumstance, it's going to be stopping Metal Defender on the Archaludon EX, like you said, from taking knockout.
Yes, and Fang Snipe comes in, and Alessandro does opt to discard that boss's orders, which is, I think, Alessandro recognizing that with this Defiance Vest, if you just found his way into an Archaludon, a boss's orders could be an easy 2 prizes on one of the bench sitters. So very smart and heads up from Alessandro there.
Yeah, very good play. Very good play, because it's not just the Luxray V, that's going to be vulnerable to a Metal Defender. It'll be the Rotom V, the Fezandipity, the Latias. It's all a 2-prize showdown for Julius. And here we see the Professor's Research. Discard your hand, draw 7.
I don't believe Julius hasn't used the Radiant Greninja yet, has he? I think did he forget to turn it off from last turn?
He hasn't used it this turn.
Yeah, I think he just forgot to undo it. We'll see. Hopefully he remembers to undo it at some point.
Yep, that's fine. And here we see the Duraludon coming down onto the bench. I think he's just noticing now, yeah, this is the turn to use Hyper Blower. Going into that Pidgeot EX.
Yeah, knowing that Alessandro knows that there's no way that Julius will be able to take a KO on the Pidgeot there. Like, there's no Origin Form Dialga V out. There's no Fulton Shenanigans coming. So that Pidgeot EX is pretty safe right now.
We spoke about it just now. You know, everything's within reach of the Metal Defender for Archaludon except for that Luxray V with the Defiance Vest and Pidgeot EX. Yes. So this was the only option really for us, Alessandro, to stop Julius from getting too ahead in this prize race.
Yeah, Ultra Ball coming in now. We'll be able to finally find that Archaludon. We'll be able to get some energy onto the field. Can go ahead and get the last energy needed to power up the Archaludon, which I imagine will go into the active, and then get a couple of energy onto the bench Duraludon as well for good measure, just to prepare for a follow-up attack.
I don't think this is too bad of a board state now for
Not at all, no.
Alessandro only has one of the accompanying flute left. He is able to, of course, Silene these back into the deck, but this gives Julius a little bit more time to, like we said, get all of these Pokemon into the discard pile, so Alessandro isn't able to put them onto the bench to gust up and trap. We know that's the game plan.
Yeah, so in we go now with the Archaludon EX. So of course, that Assemble Alloy going to come in, and it is 2 energies you can attach with that ability. So it's going to be 1 onto the active, so you can actually use the Metal Defender attack, and then 1 on this bench Duraludon, I can only imagine. Unless you want to, I guess the alternative would be to only attach 1 in case you want to leave the Duraludon on the bench with nothing on it. Maybe the plan is to like kind of scoop up all your attackers on the bench and just have this one Archaludon like hitting over and over again.
It does have the Professor Turo scenario in hand ready for next turn, accompanied with an Iono and a Professor's Research. So you can imagine Julius is just going to pick up the Greninja next turn and hopefully discard it with the Research. But there we see the quick search from Alessandro on his turn, starting to get out that Radiant Arena, heal up some of this damage on the Pidgeot.
Yeah, we saw how to what great effect it was used in the last game that we saw with Alessandro against Fabian. Julius now realizing that yes, he can in fact go ahead and mark the Greninja as not used. But here we go with the Fulton, so that we can evolve into the Milotic, and yes, that is huge.
This is a fantastic turn because not only this now, but Fang sniping the Professor Turo scenario, you don't really need to because the Milotic is in play. But you know, why not for good measure? Even if Julius was able to find somehow to retreat plus a boss's orders on the Milotic, you know, you're getting rid of a crucial resource for Julius in this game.
It is exactly like the game against Fabian. Alessandro has done it again. He has managed to put together the combo to stop Julius from being able to do much of anything, and with that Milotic out, that Professor Turo scenario is useless. I guess you can just go ahead and discard. It's good between the Iono and the Professor's Research.
I mean, for Alessandro, there's not even an obvious choice anymore. You know, he can get rid of the Iono, stop Julius from getting himself back into the game by keeping the resources in the deck. He does have Professor Turo scenario still. Going for the Iono is a pretty smart choice. I think stopping Julius from putting his hand into his deck, you know, shuffling cards back into the deck, you know, at the end of the day, Alessandro's win con is deck out, right?
Yes, we saw that was what was able to be used last time to buy some time, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, but a very good draw there from Julius as he finds the Pokestop. That counters the Calamitous Wasteland, and that does mean as long as Julius can find an energy card, this is the one opportunity he has to still retreat. Of course, it was a Fang Snipe, not a tempting trap that happened.
I think what's funny is Alessandro knew he top decks the Pokestop. He just did see his hand from the Fang Snipe, so, you know, what can I do?
Yeah, Julius does catch a little bit of a break there. You know, could have maybe found it from the research as well, but all the same, it's more, you know, it's more in style to just get off the top deck, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we see here Julius does draw into that earthen vessel along with the trekking shoes, able to go further into this deck now, find some of these resources to get himself back into the game, debating whether to discard the black belt from this trekking shoes. Does so, draws another card, finds the Ultra Ball. Can find another Archaludon to evolve this Duraludon on the bench. Here we see the earthen vessel come down. He does still need to attach to this Greninja if he wants any hope of retreating. Has already used this support for turn. The Scoop Up Cyclone has been used, so manual attachment and retreating manually is his only option to get this Greninja out.
Yeah, and it's slightly unfortunate that with, of course, with the Temple Alloy ability, you can only attach to metal Pokemon.
Correct.
So you can't, like, our Child on EX itself wasn't out. You did have to find a natural energy to attach manually to the Greninja Territory, but thankfully was able to find that with the Earthen Vessel. So all is good with Julius right now.
Yeah, something very important to mention for sure. And with those 2 energy cards in hand, is able to use concealed cards for good measure for an extra 2 cards in hand if he likes to. I think, oh no, just going for the retreat, sees the value in keeping an energy in hand, possibly just in case if Alessandro was able to gust up the Greninja next turn again. Does need another energy for that manual attachment and retreat, just like he's done so here. And here you can imagine a Metal Defender attack on this Luxray.
Yeah, and also has the power pad ready to go as well, so very smartly going to go ahead and fire that off so you can get 2 of those bosses orders back into the deck. It's going to be crucial for Julius to find those, to pick off these weaker support Pokemon on the bench and actually get one-hit knockouts and playing around stuff like this Defiance Vest.
I think that's his only hope right now. It doesn't play any Lost Vacuum, so he's going to have to 2-hit this Luxray for a potential knockout. I think streaming boss's orders, I think we mentioned this actually in a previous feature match, that our Chaladon does need to stream these boss's orders to knock out these fragile low hit point EX and V Pokemon in order to hit that 2-2-2 prize mapping.
Yeah, so looks like, was that just the, why is there only 2 damage on it?
I think what they're saying is there's only 2 damage left.
Oh, okay.
Very confusing.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of that, generally speaking. But I mean, as long as both players understand what's going on, then I think that's fine. And also, to be fair, Alessandro does have the penny, so it's probably not going to matter anyway. So this Luxray does just get picked up.
That's absolutely fine, as long as we are all aware.
Yes.
And then the Luxray just comes straight back down.
Yes. Elegant Heal also comes in, does heal 20 damage more off of that Pidgeot. Slowly but surely, that damage will get all healed off eventually. And now it's going to be another Fang Snipe, I guess. So that's I mean, it's a good thing that, again, you just played the Power Pad now, so otherwise that would definitely be hitting the discard pile, but there were still some other pretty good cards that Alessandro could hit off this.
Just opting for the counter catcher, I think.
Yes.
Comes the Greninja.
Oh, and there's another Calamitous Wasteland. Oh my goodness. Alessandro not missing a beat here, finding the answers to Julius's answers as he just tries his best to find his way through the deck and just kind of stall enough to get to the point where eventually he can find hopefully a Hisuian Heavy Ball, get that Mawile out of the discard pile, and then really put the lock on Julius.
And again, Julius's list isn't the conventional Archalazon that we're all used to. It isn't playing a heavy stadium count. It isn't playing the mix of the Pokestop and Jamming Tower. It's just playing those 2 Pokestops. So that Calamitous Wasteland is here to stay.
Yeah, which is absolutely brutal. Is that literally... is there a second Pokestop? Rather, with the second Pokestop, it's... Oh, of course, it's in the prize cards.
Yeah, the Pokestop is in the prize cards. So Julius will have no option but to deal with this Calamitous Wasteland now.
Brutal.
And it's all about resource management now for Julius. How many energy has he got left to be able to use? Does play a heavy count of Night Stretcher. We can see that there's a few energy in the discard pile, but it's whether he can find the pieces that he needs in order to start doing some damage to Alessandro's board.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Benji, but I'm getting a little bit of deja vu from Alessandro's game against Fabian here. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting to that point.
Just a bit, yeah, you are right. And looking at Julius's hand, it isn't fantastic. Ultra Ball, I think I see a Dialga V, which I don't think he wants to be putting down anytime soon under Professor's research. Oh no, it's a Nest Ball and another Duraludon.
Yeah, it's...
all not great. And you can see by his body language, he's kind of slunched over it just a little bit. Quite an unfortunate hand for Julius, but Alessandro, let's see if he can capitalize on this poor board state for Julius.
Yeah, Palpad going to be the first card played, so going to have a look through the discard pile, probably get back. Yeah, the Penny and the Silene seem like 2 very sensible things to get back. Although this time Alessandro hasn't prized a second Silene. We did see that in the last feature match, but both Silenes are in the deck right now.
Yeah, fortunate enough for Alessandro, you know, not prizing any of those pieces to the kind of loop, the Silene, the Palpads. He does play what is considered, I guess, a considerable count, a 2-2 of both the Silene and Palpad, able to keep streaming them, finding these supporting resources, and with Silene, if so, any sort of item cards he wishes, or tool cards, or even Pokemon.
Yeah, so now the Ino gets played here. Alessandro had a very small hand, so mainly just wanted to make sure to refill the hand with as many resources as possible. Really wants to find that Hisuian Heavy Ball. We know it's all in the prizes, so you could quick search for it at any point you wanted to, but you need to find a combination of that plus some way to clear up a space from your own board.
Yeah, and seeing that Julius's hand isn't fantastic, I think...
Oh, but there's a Night Stretcher in hand! And the boss's orders.
Hand, but just going for fang sniping the boss's orders. And Julius putting it straight into the discard pile.
Yeah.
Alessandro, it's an obvious choice, it seems, for the boss's orders instead of the Night Stretcher. I think right now, Alessandro is pretty much in the driving seat. IO-knowing was a great play there. Knowing that Julius's hand wasn't fantastic, giving a fresh hand, yeah, sure, it's not to everybody's favor usually, but in this circumstance where he can access the hand with Fang Snipe, this is ideal.
Yeah, essentially, you make yourself, by IO-knowing and giving your opponent a bigger hand, you make it more likely that Fang Snipe hits a meaningful card, and that's exactly what happened. It's obviously leaving the Night Stretcher in hand means that Julius can still retreat, which isn't ideal, but you can still work around that. Oh, a little update from our other top 4 game. It looks like Kim Pobega is 1-0 up against Isaiah Bradner.
Wow. I mean, we spoke to Isaiah earlier about how confident he was into this matchup, but it's surprising to see him 1-0 down. Let's see if Isaiah can pull it back, possibly, or if Kim can make himself a finalist in this regional championships.
Yeah, I mean, we did manage to win, of course, all the way back in the Bologna Special Championships last year, so there's no reason why he can't make it to the finals again. He's a very skilled player, but now we have a game right here in front of us to focus on. So, with the Night Stretcher in the hand, Julius can get back a Metal Energy, attach it to the Greninja, and now we'll be able to retreat even through that Calamitous Wasteland. So now this Archaludon is going to come in, and yeah, it's going to be another Metal Defender.
It's not a fantastic turn still for Julius.
No.
I think he still would have liked to have seen that boss's orders for a potential knockout this turn, but having been forced to Rescue Stretcher, retreat, and just do 220, which Alessandro can just pick up and remove the damage from, this isn't fantastic from Julius.
Yeah.
And not only that, I will say as well, using the Rescue Stretcher just to attach and retreat when Alessandro can just continuously stream gusting onto this Greninja, it's pretty scary.
It's a Night Stretcher, not Rescue Stretcher.
Oh,
remember?
sorry, Night Stretcher.
It's not just you. I heard Ross and Jesper doing it as well, so I'm calling all of you out right now.
Oh, brilliant. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy mix-up, to be fair. Now, we're going into Alessandro's turn. Going into contemplative mode here right now, because obviously you want to pick up this Luxray V with the penny, because you don't really want it to be knocked out. Being able to Fang Snipe constantly is pretty good. You can quick search for it, and I think that's what Alessandro kind of has to do here.
I mean, the ideal turn, I think, would be to have healed the damage from the Luxray via a penny, and then go for another counter catcher on this Raging Greninja. I really think that this is the right play now.
Yeah, but
because that Archaludon isn't doing a fantastic amount of damage. It's not taking any knockouts anytime soon, and without any boss's orders, you're not taking any prizes either. You know, this is pretty advantageous, I would say, for Alessandro right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And interesting, mixing up the approach a little bit. So Alessandro, instead of going for that, the Mawile, gonna go ahead and Ultra Ball for that Mimikyu. Just try to stall for a little bit. I like it.
Well, I like it because, of course, this Duraludon at the moment is not doing any damage to this Mimikyu. The Safeguard ability will stop any sort of EX or V Pokemon from doing damage to it. But if Julius wants to be able to do the damage to it, he'll have to get this Archaludon out of the active. And there's only so many cards now. I think Professor Turo's gone. Well, actually, no. I say that. The Milotic is there, so he can't do anything.
Yeah, I like it. I think this makes a lot of sense, and I just realized, oh, but you just find the boss's orders, and it's just like, it's unbelievable. Like, Alessandro is like, oh, come on, you gotta do this to me. Oh, we'd love to see a fun time on stream, but that is a huge top deck from Julius as he KOs now the pitcher and shuts off the bulk of Alessandro's backbone engine.
Yeah, this is a great turn from Julius in all things considered. There's 3 boss's orders used now by Julius. No more Pal Pad left. There are only so many final opportunities for Julius to take prize cards in this matchup. We have the Mimikyu down on the board, of course, with that Safeguard ability. Julius still needs to find a way around this, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, the worst bit is, well, for Alessandro, unless you can put together, like, you know, a really crazy combo turn where you use Power Plaid to get the Fortin back and then Fortin plus Rare Candy to the pitcher again, it's going to be so hard to get that pitcher back online.
Yep, and it's going to be hard to get it back online without any sort of...
Actually, sorry, need to correct myself. The other Rare Candy's in the prizes anyway.
Oh, well, there you go. Pidgeot's no longer an option for Alessandro. He's going to have to deal with this game without any sort of quick search engine. And here we see the gust up onto this Radiant Greninja, and I think this is going to be the turn where Alessandro turns things back into his favor.
Well, yeah, going to try to, but it is going to be so much harder with the Pidgeot. Like, I mean, this Fang Snipe, you're not even discarding anything that great with it. There's like the sort of scenario which you can't play anyway. You've got Counter Catcher, but like Julius is winning. I guess it's still going to discard the turret scenario, I guess, just for the sake of it.
Yep, no more options for Julius to switch out other than manual retreat. You know, if he was able to boss up this Melodic, at least he would have been able to give himself a couple of turns if Alessandro wasn't able to Thornton of using those resources. But you know, for Julius now, it's just a case of manually attaching to this Greninja and just hoping he can find another energy to retreat next turn.
Okay, but here's a big accompanying flute, the second one. No hits though for Alessandro, just that's a whiff from the accompanying flute.
I'm not too surprised. The Relicanth we know is gone. The Iron Bundle is also gone. The Radiant Greninja is in the active. I think so many Duraludon are gone as well. I think in the prize cards there is one Duraludon there as well. So the Luminion, the Fezandipity are still there as well. I think they're gone as well. I think Julius is, like I said, gone through that strategy of just getting rid of all of these Pokemon he'll find are not optimal in this matchup.
You know what's a real shame for Julius? One way that could be nice to play to play around this sort of pseudo retreat lock that Alessandro has established, which Fabian Puyol did not have access to. Julius does play his own Fortin, so he could use that if it wasn't prized, which it is unfortunately, to swap out that Radiant Greninja for a Duraludon.
Yep, could do.
Yeah,
that's definitely an option for Julius. And this is a fantastic play as well.
Oh.
The double-double.
Yeah, the double-double, yeah.
The double-double turbo will mean that the Fang Snipe is not doing any more damage, so he's not knocking out that Radiant Greninja.
Yeah, very heads up. Oh, very big top level Julius. Oh, it's another Archaludon, so it's just going to be a pass.
I think what's relevant about not doing any damage to this Radiant Greninja is eventually it would have been knocked out from the Fang Snipe, right? And given Julius the ability to promote any sort of attacker. But now that's not going to be an option. That Radiant Greninja is there to stay, and that Fang Snipe is also just going to run amok right now.
Okay. And it looks like the Silene did get one heads that time, so Alessandro feeling okay with that, going to be able to get at least one card back, and yeah, it's got to be that power pad, because you need to keep that chain of Silenes going if you don't want to deck out. Yeah,
crucial to Alessandro's game plan. We spoke about it earlier, the heavy, I'm going to use it again, the considerable count of Palpad and Silene. This is definitely his looping option.
Oh, but hold on, there actually is already a Palpad in hand, so maybe this is an opportunity to get back something else with the Silene. I think that's what Alessandro's considering right now, but no, just going to go for the Palpad, play it safe. You know, 2 Palpads in the deck is definitely safer than only one in the hand.
I mean, he knows that only Julius is not going to be heavy in terms of item resources, so Eri won't be that effective. I would have thought he can start getting back the Ionos to start shuffling in some cards for Fang Snipe.
Yeah, there goes the counter catcher from the Fang Snipe. Oh, but that's for Julius top deck's a Night Stretcher!
This is massive, but of course, only doing 220 damage. It's not great, only because, Alessandro didn't even put the he didn't even put the damage down.
Well, of course, it wasn't 220, it would be like 170, right? Or, no, 180, because Defiance reduces 40, yeah. But yeah, had the penny already ready to go, so no worries there. And Alessandro does find the Pidgeot, and wait, was that Julius conceding or was that Alessandro?
Julius scooping there.
Yeah, there's it. So Alessandro does in fact take game one. Julius knowing that there's no way to boss's orders to bring up the Pidgey again, and so Alessandro does take game one.
Yeah, there are only so many opportunities in which Julius could capitalize on Alessandro's, I would say, slow start compared to his other matchups. But I mean, Alessandro is quick enough to get the Melodic up and running, and in this way, not even having to use Tempting Trap. I think the Fang Sniper in connection with the Defiance Vest was enough. Getting rid of those boss's orders was just too much of an advantage for Alessandro, and unfortunate for Julius, he's going to have to win 2 games on the bounce now.
Yeah, 2 games on the bounce. Wow, absolutely incredible. Just going through this match that just happened here. So this was a really key moment where, with the double Calamitous Wasteland, you can see the expression on Julius's face, because he was so happy to top that Pokestop counter the Calamitous Wasteland, but then Alessandro had another one plus another counter catcher to bring up that Radiant Greninja again, and that is the way you kind of try to do your best to retreat stall when you don't have access to more while. And then Julius top decking the boss of the Hordos, and Alessandro exasperated.
And despite the top decks, it just wasn't enough for Julius to deal with Alessandro. And here we see the expressions from both players, just having a great time here. here.
I can't remember the last time I saw this animated in the top 4. Basically, it makes complete sense considering these are probably 2 of the most expressive top players in the game right now. But yeah, after that, Julius just recognizing, no, with that Pidgey down, I can't deal with it. Nothing else to be done. Time to scoop it up, and maybe I can win the last 2 games.
It certainly helps. And, you know, playing Alessandro is always a treat. You know, he does have fun with it, despite playing control. He's a very interactive player. He's very expression as well. His expressions are fantastic. He's the sort of player, if he doesn't have a great hand, you know about it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to ask him whether he has a bad hand. He's very expressive. And the same for Julius. I've had a fantastic time playing him as well.
I was going to say that maybe like worst poker face in the world, but I mean, maybe one day, you know, Alessandro acts like that, but actually has like a really good hand. Maybe that could be his key, is a build up of all this time to like throw off. But I don't think that, to be fair, though, I don't think that's in Alessandro's nature.
Well, he usually just laughs at you if he has a good hand. Oh, but here we see the precious trolley in the prize cards for Alessandro.
Brutal.
This is going to be, well, it's not going to be fantastic for his initial setup.
Yeah, and already firing off there with the accompanying flute, putting down, oh, that's like, I'm surprised Alessandro gave Julius that. That's a good Pokemon to have out.
Yeah, well, you say that, but of course he does want to be able to sort of bench lock Julius. If he's able to get as many Duraludon out as possible, if he's able to get 4 out, Julius only plays 9 energy.
Yeah, I suppose so. That is true, yeah.
So eventually he will run out of options to attach an attack. But here we see Alessandro. What other resources he got? Oh, just to pass over to Julius now.
Yeah, not really great. It's not like, I mean, the contrast to game 1 is stark, I would say, with that precious trolley and that sort of premium start, as you so accurately put it. Julius, in the meantime, has 2 Duraludon, which is already better going than his turn 1 last time. Has a Pokestop 2. Is debating whether he wants to play either that Luminion V or that Vessel first, but no, just going to go for it. And looks like, oh no. No, not like this. Not like, okay. 1 out of 3 at least, but I mean, even then, it's not really a useful card against control.
The hand gestures from Alessandro, they make me weak. I swear, he's just rotating his hand. Come on, let's get another supporter down. I love this. But Earthen Vessel, the metal energy there. Interesting choice, actually. He does have the Luminion and the Fezandipity in hand, so he was able to get rid of these Pokemon to stop Alessandro from potentially Ericas.
Whoever said that casting control couldn't be fun? Whoever it was, they are a liar. I'm having such a blast right now.
Not me. Not me. I actually said to Alessandro after the game, he apologized. I said, don't apologize. It was a great game.
Fantastic, yeah.
It was a great game.
And like, as if he's offering us a fantastic match again. And Julius, they're both putting on such a great show for us. I love these 2 guys so much.
Yeah, fantastic. And here we see 2 metal energy coming out of the deck. Going to thin out even more for Julius. And if he's able to find something like a Professor's Research, get up and running now, get that engine going, get the Assemble Alloys nice and active. And of course, he does want to be able to see as many energy in the discard pile to use them as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, I'm seeing an energy. I'm seeing a Fezandipity. It looks like it's, after that, is it just going to be a hammer in for 30? Yep, looks like it.
Yep. And that sets up the numbers quite nicely, I think. Even if the Alessandro was able to attach a Defiance Vest later on, say if Julius goes for the Pidgey, attaching that Defiance Vest, that 30 damage can come into effect quite nicely. Ooh.
Yeah. Was that Alessandro using Pokestop?
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Luminion, Rotom, and Palpad is nice at least, but you can't use it to get back the Rotom and the Luminion just discarded. Oh, that's dreadful.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, does Alessandro play any way to get back those other than Silene? I don't think he does, right?
No other recovery options other than Silene. Opted to go for the Bravery Charm onto this Luxray V. Going for the potential Thornton.
I think this is Fortin to get Rotom V into play. There's not a sentence you say often.
No, not at all, but if needs must, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's some real dependency from this instant charge to find some resources for Alessandro to get up and running.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. And Julius top decks the Professor's Research as well.
Yeah, this is an ideal start. Like I said earlier, if he was able to find a Professor's Research from the Luminion, that would have been fantastic to get rid of this Fezandipity, but just drawing it from the top, he's able to get rid of the Fezandipity and the Luminion V.
Pretty good going, can't complain about that. It's a huge top deck from Julius. Now, won't be able to KO the Luxray V, unfortunately. That Bravery Charm does put it out of range of the Metal Defender, but that's still a pretty good research. I see a Boss's Orders, I see 2 Boss's Orders, I see an Earthen Vessel and a Greninja, so you can get that out of the way as well, and I see Archaludon. That is about as perfect a research as you could ask for.
Yeah, and the Elegant Heal actually coming in to Alessandro's favor, because without that, I think that Julius would have been in range of knocking out the Luxray.
Because it would have been 250. No, it would have still been 10 short.
It would have been still 10 short.
Yeah, because Luxray has 210, so it goes up to 260. So, but I mean, it's obviously it's still nice to have.
Yeah. And here we see Julius just using that assemble alloy, going for this metal defender attack on the Luxray. Is Alessandro able to pick up this Luxray to negate any sort of damage? But here we see the Arven.
Oh, here we go.
You can imagine a Forest Seal Stone coming down pretty fast. Is able to get this Pidgeot engine up and running now. If this is the start alchemy for the Pidgeot EX, this is a very, very common interaction that we see, especially with this type of engine. Yeah,
and now the backbone of the deck is going. Alessandro is going to be very, very happy to see that. Won't be so happy to notice, I'm sure that he probably already has, that the Precious Trolley is not available to him. That is indeed in the prize cards. Not ideal in the slightest, but can still look through and pick out the key piece that he thinks is going to most help him in this specific turn. I'm actually very curious to see what he goes for here.
Yeah, I would imagine it's something to try and help him to set up here, or even trying to find some security behind this Mimikyu.
Yeah, because the other thing, we didn't draw attention to it specifically, but it is important to know, not only is the Precious Trolley prize, the Latias EX is prize as well, so no flexibility for Alessandro in terms of free retreat on his basic Pokemon either.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any sort of switch outs for Alessandro to go into this Mimikyu other than sort of a manual attachment and retreat, and that's exactly what I was seeing. The Mist Energy onto the Luxray. It is a 1 energy cost for the retreat, but this Mimikyu is going to have to do some work in terms of stalling Julius out of any sort of setup.
Yeah. Now, the lucky thing for Alessandro is that the Mimikyu, it is weak to metal, but it has 70 HP, so even a hammer in won't quite do the trick. But there's a boss's orders just going to, Julius going to target down the prize cards here, just bring up that Luxray, going to go ahead and Metal Defender to knock it out and take the first 2 prize cards of the game. Yeah,
this is a fantastic boss's orders. Not only taking the knockout on the Luxray to put yourself 2 prizes up, but also getting rid of that Bravery Charm. Because if Alessandro was able to penny that Luxray, that would have been a card that he would have been able to reuse on another.
Yeah, exactly. So getting it out of rotation, there's no other way other than Silene, of course, for Alessandro to get back that Bravery Charm. But I'm fairly sure if he's playing Silene, he needs to prioritize other stuff anyway.
Yeah, agreed. And here we see Alessandro just night stretching the Luxray back into play, putting it straight onto the bench.
Yeah, really.
It's all about whether he can get the Melodic out now, really, I think, for Alessandro, because Julius will be able to use these resources pretty soon to effect, right? Because he'll be able to mill through his deck, take out the awkward hands, take out some of these Pokemon that are not going to be effective to him and his game plan. And here we see the Eri taking out.
But this time opting not to go for the boss's orders, interestingly enough.
Yes. No. He wouldn't have been able to get rid of it with Eri.
Eri's only items, no, but okay, yes. Eri is indeed only items, so that's why. But that's exactly why.
It's a good point, though, you make, because he would have been able to look into his hand for this Fang Snipe. So, yes, he is now able to get rid of this boss's orders.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's still very heads up regardless. So, 2 more resources gone. And, bring up something that can't attack in return. Very smart there as well. And now with that Fang Snipe, we'll be able to get that boss's orders out of the hand. And that is about as strong a turn as you could ask for from Alessandro in this situation.
Yeah, it's kind of a dual purpose with that Eri.
Yeah.
Of course, only able to get rid of items, but having that knowledge of what is in your opponent's hand will make that Fang Snipe that more effective, because there could have been an option where Alessandro just promoted the Mimikyu, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Hid behind the safeguard ability and just passed over.
Yeah, but now he recognized that this was the right thing to go for because of that information that was gained from the Eri. So now Alessandro is taking a look through the deck with that quick search to see what else he can grab this turn as effective as it can be, and I think that Calamitous Wasteland is a pretty good pick,
Yeah, not terrible indeed. And of course, with Alessandro playing attacking options, not the stereotypical stall play with Snorlax or Tempting Trap. Well, it does play Tempting Trap, but it's more of an attacking way of playing control. The Calamitous Wasteland is a fantastic option to stall your opponent out of being able to retreat back into some attackers.
Yeah, and Julius, he's preparing it in his hand. He knows exactly what Alessandro's going to go for. And he says, Alessandro, yep, that is what I'm going for, but just let me take another look at the hand, just so I know exactly what's being sort of is Julius has access to. And yep, that boss's orders hits the discard pile, so that does mean, I believe, all 3 are now in the discard pile currently, so Julius needs to find that power pad.
I really need to thank Alessandro later on, because he's putting all of these crucial resources in a pile for Julius's discard pile, so we know exactly how many. There's 3 boss's orders in the discard now for Julius, so no gusting options other than maybe that Iron Bundle. And that Luxray is going to be in the active, and it's going to tank any sort of hit that Julius has.
Yeah, so now the answer for now is going to be, I know, Julius just, I mean, doesn't really disrupt Alessandro that much because of the quick search, but Julius just needs to see more cards at this point.
Yeah, agreed. And I don't believe I saw any sort of energy cards in the discard pile for Julius either, so isn't able to evolve into another Archaladon, assemble Alloy onto the active and do any sort of damage at the moment.
Yeah. 4 cards drawn. There's a Professor's Research. Oh, there's an Earthen Vessel. That's big. And a Nest Ball for good measure. So you can use the Earthen Vessel, discard the Relicanth to get that out of the way, and then grab 2 energy, and then you can Nest Ball for another good thing. That's actually a pretty good draw 4 off Iono.
I'm sure he would have loved to have seen an Ultra Ball in that hand in connection with that Earthen Vessel and the Relicanth, but unfortunately he's just going to have to wait till next turn to see any sort of option to find an Archaladon, or just naturally find it from the research, discard, draw 7.
Yeah, but at the very least you know that you have that follow-up for next turn, whereas, you know, that Iono could have gone a lot worse, all things considered.
Correct, but you know what? There's a Fang Snipe in the active, there's a Luxray V, you know, he's just going to get, Alessandro's just maybe going to get rid of that Professor's Research and leave Julius with a no supporter hand.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, I mean, because you're not going to discard the Nest Ball, right? Unless...
No, not at all.
So, but because of that, maybe Julius, on the off chance that Alessandro decides to go for the Nest Ball, keeping it in the hand. I'm not convinced though somehow.
Defiance Vest actually stopping Hammer-In from doing any sort of damage.
Oh, and Alessandro, of course, with that feedback surviving the turn, is able to get the Milotic out as well.
Yeah, this is massive for Alessandro. His board's fully set up now. We know the strategy. We've seen it so many times before now. We featured it twice today. We know what Alessandro's up to in terms of his game plan. This Milotic is here to stay. It's going to stop Julius from using those supporters, those Professor Turo scenario, and the Scoop Up Cyclone to find any sort of switch out.
Accompanying off the Arven does find another Duraludon, so yeah, again, maybe not the optimal target, but it's filling up the bench a little bit more. It's getting you a little bit closer to that bench lock.
This is actually so ideal for Alessandro, because even if there is 4 Duraludon on the field, yes, they can all attack by turning into Archaladon, but Julius only plays 9 energy, so eventually he will be able to gust one up, and with Julius having no energy left, it won't be able to attack.
Yeah, so it is still a viable stall target in that sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, okay, that's huge then.
And here we see the double attachment to...
yeah, just like in game 1, right?
Yeah, just like in game 1, the double attachment of double turbo energy, not doing any more damage with that Fang Snipe.
And
it's a bit of an obvious choice, but we can be excited about it.
Yeah. Oh, no, Julius. Julius, come on. Yeah, I'm with Alessandro here.
Look, we're all having fun here. I think the beauty of this is, like, you know that he's top decked it. I think that's the beauty of it. And the expression from Alessandro is priceless.
He's like looking at the judge like, how
is he doing this? How is he doing this? Julius now with a fresh 7 cards. Does find plenty of cards in there, plenty of toys to play with. But, you know, those toys can't quite come out at the moment. Does find an Archaladon and a Scoop Up Cyclone, but he's unable to use it.
Yep, just attaching a Metal Energy and going to go ahead with that Metal Defender. To be fair, Alessandro's, maybe, sort of flailing about due to the top decks, but in the last game it didn't matter. He still won, even with all the top decks that Julius got.
No. I think there was a bit of confusion there as to what he could attach this turn. I think he's already attached for turn, so unfortunately he won't be able to use the Mal Defender this turn. That Luxray still in the active, plenty of hit points for Julius to hit in connection with that Defiance Vest.
Yeah, I think there was attachment onto the bench Archaladon, I believe. Yeah, the judges, we have a little turn tracker there. The judges have that there as well, so they can keep track of what's going on.
That
so
makes sense.
In comes the Fang Snipe. I guess, yeah, Pokestop seems like the obvious choice.
I think Pokestop is a great choice, keeping that Calamitous Wastelands nice and fresh. Of course, Julius only playing 2 stadiums, not playing any of that Jamming Tower again.
Yep.
Just mistaken there, the Fang Snipe not doing any damage.
Yep. That was on purpose. Wait, wasn't the 10 damage already on there? No, it wasn't.
That was when on the bench.
Yeah, that was there. So yeah, and then now Julius can attach 1 Metal Energy onto the Duraludon and do nothing.
Yeah, and this is exactly where now Alessandro is able to control the board state in terms of Julius's energy. So we see here that there is 6 energy out in the field. Even if Julius is able to attach 2 to this active Duraludon, that bench one with no energy is not going to find any energy anytime soon.
No, and then that will become the prime stall target that can do absolutely nothing, and if Alessandro can then get the more wild Tempting Trap on that, the game will be as good as over.
Yeah, 100%. And here we see this Silene here. What do you flip? Oh,
Oh, double tails.
Snake
oh,
eyes,
no.
double tails, and he's just showing a little bit of hand gesture. How can Julius top deck and I get double tails?
Sometimes some of those Pokemon isn't fair like that. But even with all that bad luck, Alessandro is still very much in a driving seat in this game. Also, the Power Pad ready to go in the hand as well, so you can just get back to Silene and try again.
Yeah, the loop is definitely active there, and the Quick Surge finding potentially another Silene ready for next turn.
I wish I could hear the conversation that's going on the table right now.
I really want to ask him. I hope the winner's interview is just about what the reactions were like to this game. And here we see the Quick Surge just coming into hand now. And I think for Alessandro, the board state's pretty much set up, right?
Yeah.
I think that Fang Snipe with no boss's orders for Julius is just going to stay in the active, and with as many penny as Alessandro plays, it's just going to be easy for him to find time to keep doing the Fang Snipe and wait until Julius simply decks out.
Yeah, so it's going to go in there. Manual attach does draw the Arcalodon for turn. So next turn, if Julius can find one more energy, then Julius will in fact be able to attack and start doing Metal Defender again. But in the meantime, we do see the Power Pad getting, the boss's orders and the Silene back. So the insurance policy to make sure you don't deck out, and then actually get a quick search for that boss's order straight away, and will bring up that last Duraludon on the field.
Yeah, and with 7 energy on the board now, like we said.
And that's it, Julius recognizes it.
Yeah, there's no option for Julius to find any more energy to attack, and Alessandro Cremascoli books himself a place into the finals of this regional championships. What a fantastic masterclass of control there against Alessandro. He's having a great time out there.
All the top decks in the world cannot help Julius there, and Alessandro takes that game in superb fashion. Julius recognizes